will be allocated. Who's going to do it in our team? Have we identified who's going to be the person? Ladies and gentlemen, it is only you who will ask these questions. Nobody else will. They've already met the man from SAP or Oracle or Cooper or wherever it is. They're evangelists, they're on board.
Hi Stephen, very nice to meet you.
And you?
You are having a speech today about procurement skills development.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I wish you good luck for your presentation.
Thank you.
Looking forward to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Highlight his commitment to procurement positive impact. As a CIPS fellow with engineering and management degree, Stephen co-founded Riskin, a procurement consultancy focused on in-country value. Please welcome Mr. Stephen Ashcroft.
Thank you. I'm very mindful I'm between you and lunch. So let's get those questions out of the way fairly quickly, shall we? Second point to make is I'm a native English speaker. If my accent is throwing you, please be the one to say, Steve, try again, because no doubt other people in the room will say so. Indispensable skills. Mr. Huday, the organizer, invited me on this presentation, and I was focused really on saying what are the gaps that our stakeholders don't have that we in procurement do have. That's what I was particularly interested in. I have 62 slides and with 45 minutes now. I haven't 62 slides, but I mainly want to get through to 5 ways that you can be a better procurement leader. But before we do that, let's just touch on some key points for you. I'm interested in this masterclass, what a wonderful term for it, a masterclass, to focus on one specific area, and Dr. Arafat's already touched on this. I've never followed Dr. Arafat at a conference, by the way. It's always going to be a challenge for you. But I'm interested in contractual compliance, zero cost changes. Okay, there we go. So all the people in the room that can say the most important thing about procurement is cost reduction, fine, we can move that out of the way now and try and move to some more skills. And what I'm wanting to do is to say to people in the room, congratulations, you're investing in your own professional and personal development. How are you going to stand out in your procurement career? That's what I'm particularly interested in. And I want to leverage my 25 years experience. Well, I learned much along the way, made many mistakes along the way. Quite an experience for me. But the objective I'm interested in is, what does the organization truly need from us? What are they particularly interested in? This point of trust with stakeholders. Right? Smiling is not the answer. Right? There's more to this trust point. Every procurement professional's CV I've ever seen has always included the phrase excellent negotiation skills. Never just good, always excellent. Right? We're always interested in those particular skills. So let's for a moment just consider 4 dimensions of how we're going to achieve our position as a leader in modern procurement. And a good way to do that, reflecting on my time in GCC particularly, is no claims. No claims would be good, wouldn't it? Adversarial relationships, not uncommon in my experience around infrastructure, real estate and so on. So I'm interested in those areas. Yeah. But what I wanted to do is perhaps give you some thought about 10 simple questions for you to always ask. And these 10 simple questions have been very helpful for me throughout the career. Dr. Arafat was making reference there for the category knowledge, whether that be in tech, infrastructure, cleaning, catering, security, mechanical and electrical maintenance. I've been involved in many, many categories, and my starting point is always to say that technically I am inept. But please don't challenge me on commercial and contractual matters. That's my area of strength. So 10 questions to always ask. Far too many words. I wish I'd put it so it came up one at a time, but let's keep going. Do we actually know what we're buying? Hands up, all those people who's bought a part number. Can't just be me, surely. Can't just be me who bought a part number. Who, what, why and when? Who's doing what? When are they doing it? Yeah, we're interested in these. By the way, there's an element of childishness in procurement, isn't there, in terms of that behaviour? You're the person asking the difficult questions, whether that's to stakeholders or to the supplier or, heaven forbid, a partner. We're particularly interested in a partner. How are deliverables going to be delivered? Don't worry about it, Mr. Stephen. I've been told many times. Yeah, it will be. Yes, how will it be delivered? It's coming from China. How are you what are you doing with the Incoterms? How are you going to get through the process to help us? How is it going to be delivered? What does the supplier need from you? Specification. Yeah. Site access. What is it that they need from you in order to make this happen? And when I say you, it's not necessarily procurement, is it? It's those dreaded stakeholders that we need to get involved in. 5. Are deliverables linked to acceptance prior to payment? Just take your time on those words. Yeah. Are deliverables linked to acceptance prior to payment? Once you've made that payment, the balance of power has slipped away. I'm just mindful there's some people taking photos of the slides. By the way, the slides are going to be emailed to you as a pack. So make sure you just concentrate on the slides for the time here. Number 6. What happens if things go wrong? What does the supplier always say at this point? Mr. Stephen, things will not go wrong. Well, sadly, I live in a pessimistic world. I'm interested in risk mitigation. What an interesting one I like to do with the supplier is to say, what risks do you identify? As soon as they say there aren't any, I know we're in terrible, terrible trouble. Yeah. There will always be risks that need managing. I'm interested in exploring those. I've spent a lot of time in Saudi Arabia, and my clients were always very interested in status and next steps, yeah, reporting. I'm interested in reporting. Where are we? How far have we progressed? What's the percentage completion? I'm interested in what the reporting mechanism is, particularly important to me. And the reason that's important to me is I want no surprises. I want to go to bed at night relaxed and happy. I don't want surprises from my suppliers. What measures will be taken to ensure that delivery can be seen to be on track? What are they doing to make sure it is going to happen? I'm interested in these points with the supplier. And the final one, and perhaps this links to collaboration as well, what will success look like? What will happen in terms of timing and cost? Am I absolutely clear on where I'm going to be on my delivery, on my quality of the service, the standard that's going to be achieved, the cost that's going to be incurred? Because I see question number 10 perhaps being less important for you with your stakeholders and suppliers, but more for you. If it's not clear to you what you're buying, how is it going to be clear to anybody else? And this takes bravery, particularly around technology, by the way, where people are using TLAs. What's a TLA? A 3-letter acronym. There seems to be exclusionary language used in many categories in order to perhaps find some superiority amongst those who are technically expert. I'm not having that on board. I'm willing to pile in and expose that I don't know, because when it fails, suddenly all the stakeholders will disappear and it will be the head of procurement whose fault it is that the delivery didn't happen. 10 questions for you always to reflect on. I've made a living out of shall, should and will, and I strongly recommend it to you. Shall, should and will. Shall or must, because English language is unhelpful in that regard, means it must happen. It's mandatory. It shall occur. Stephen Ashcroft, you shall speak at 1 o'clock in Kuwait. That was a mandatory requirement. Should, maybe should, will. I will try hard. I will, I promise. So in the contract, the supplier shall develop a detailed schedule, not will, shall. It's a contractual obligation. It's a contractual obligation. The schedule shall be fully costed and resourced, not should. The buyer Now the balance is changing. The buyer will provide training. We might not. Depends how the budget's looking. Depends what time's available to us. Depends on the feelings we have for this supplier. Let's be human about it. So far so good. You're all nodding. Yes, Steve. Yeah, we've done contracts. We're happy with this. We're happy with this. Let me give you another one. Lots of words. Try and not take it all in. We want to engender trust with our stakeholders. A way that I ask you to consider an indispensable skill of procurement people is that intangible skill called commercial acumen. If I looked on your CV, I suspect that you would tell us, as well as your excellent negotiation skills, you also had commercial acumen. Walk me through number one. This is an excerpt from a specification. Happens to be on technology, could be anything. Number one, the supplier shall, I'm happy so far, the supplier shall provide a high quality service. Woo, hold on. A high quality service. Dr. Arafat gave us a high quality presentation. Perhaps I need to follow similarly. But what is a high quality? I don't know. Regarding. Implementation of the system software. Fine, I'm happy so far. Including, I'll be surprised if I don't see the word etc. at the end. Including is not defined, is it? There may be other things that we're interested in. Project management, installation, training. Training of what? On with who? When? How? What does the training involve? Oh, it'll be in the annex, Steve. It's in Appendix 2. Smashing. I'm really pleased. I need to see Annex 2 then. And full responsibility. Full. What does full responsibility mean? Of any data an ocean of data conversion. What does, I don't know what it is, but I'm out of my depth. I'm concerned now. A member of the authorities project team, somebody in our team, will be allocated. Who's going to do it in our team? Have we identified who's going to be the person to oversee? RACI, heard of RACI maybe? The overall project. Overall project, is that the same as the implementation of the software? What does overall project mean? You're not making friends with a fragile personality, the stakeholder who's written this spec, but by Jove, you've protected the interests of your organisation. Let me just check your commercial acumen. If you take you to number 4, it says the lifespan of the system shall be at least 7 years. If you join me in the procurement commercial acumen approach, what's your first question? I'll have to hurry you, lunch is coming.
Can you repeat the question?
The lifespan of the system shall be at least 7 years. What's the first question? Why 7 years? Where did you get 7 from? Why is it not 27? Why is it not 1? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, it is only you who will ask these questions. Nobody else will. They've already met the man from SAP or Oracle or Cooper or wherever it is. They're evangelists. They're on board. You're the person who's protecting the interests of your organisation, and your professional stakeholders will respect your commercial acumen. Let me just make sure we're all on the same page. I'm perhaps banging into this too much, but let me help me out. Number 1, if it said a monthly report will be issued, what would be your first question? I'm dying here. It's not going to work. It's going to be hard going. A monthly report will be issued. Why monthly? What's in the report? Yeah. Who's it going to be issued to? What are the consequences of it? Why does it not say shall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. I've smashed it already, haven't I? Smashed it. Because you know, those of you who've more than a year's experience in procurement know that phrase is full of terror. That will cause a lot of problems going forward. Because the supplier will say, oh, I didn't realise it was that monthly report you wanted. That one is a cost change. Oh, that one, no. whatever it might be. Secondly, key personnel shall not be changed without the approval of the authority. Key personnel shall not be changed without the approval of the authority. Who in the authority holds approval? By what means are we going to change them? Is there a cost implication for such change? Number 3, the supplier shall suitably test the software prior to installation. Come on, can you help me out on this one? Help me out on this one. Do we really want them to mark their own homework? Are we comfortable with that? Are we convinced that they will say anything other than, it's perfect, everything's great, nothing to worry about? The authority requires continual improvement that the supplier shall use his reasonable endeavours to achieve this. This is why you need your SIPS training, isn't it? If only there was a book called Contracting in the Public Sector, written by Stephen Ashcroft, that you could read. Reasonable endeavours. Reasonable endeavours. They don't have to try, do they? It's reasonable. Indispensable skills. An intangible courage. The person willing to ask the difficult questions, the one who has a lake of knowledge in commercial and contractual. That's your indispensable skill, ladies and gentlemen. No supplier claims, okay? So, what we need from you and how you're going to do it. So number 1, being able to audit, to review current practices, attention to detail. That was an attempt at a joke. Has it landed particularly well, me spelling attention wrong? One person's laughing, I have an audience. Enhance your soft skills, communication and negotiation. How many of you there could be here? There's a thought for you. Yeah. Leading your teams, speaking in public, being the person who runs the bid conference. Swiftly deal with contractual non-compliance. Problem solving. Problem solving. Problem solving. Evaluate risks and develop mitigation strategies. Collaboration. In terms of collaboration, by the way, everywhere I go, people are telling me how important it is. You can only see the outcomes of collaboration, can't you? You can only see the outcomes. Relationship building. Yeah, being able to figure out who you're dealing with. I've worked in 42 countries. Please be assured, culture is an individual issue. It's got nothing to do with being Kuwaiti or Saudi or from being from Azerbaijan. It's the individuals that you're dealing with. We've touched on stakeholder management, absolutely key. At the risk of losing friends, many of my stakeholders have sought to position procurement as the source of failure in a project. That was a bit real, wasn't it? Bit real. So recognise that, and I keep coming back to Dr. Arafat, recognise that there will be stakeholders who are actively against the success of procurement. Fine, it's a tough world. We shall deal with this as best we can. Last one, deliver business benefits. In my recent career, I was able to be positioned as somebody who was recognised as a transformational leader. I shall just bring you into a little secret garden. What I did was align procurement with the strategic imperatives of the organisation. Sustainability, local supply, DEI. I would like to say I was a magician. Yeah, what I did was actually listen to the business, figure out what they wanted and sought to align procurement with that. If it was cost reduction and that's all they wanted from me, fine, I'll give them that. But if somebody's wanting something bigger, I was able to deliver on that. That's strategic thinking, absolutely key. 25 minutes to go. We're doing well, aren't we? An indispensable skill. You are in a negotiation room today representing a buying organisation, following our 10 statements made by another party. What would you say next? Oh no, Steve, I'm in oil and gas, so I'm in bakeries. It doesn't work like that. I've done the questions generically, so there's no excuse. We've no choice but to withdraw our offer, says the supplier. What would you say next? we've no choice but to withdraw our offer. Less mature colleagues have said, the smarter move is to ask, why? Why? Why are you withdrawing your offer? You may not get the right answer. You may not get a truthful answer. You might actually learn something. You might learn something. Oh, we don't want to deal with your organisation because your perception is that you're a corrupt buyer. Oof. Asking why. Calmness, maturity, learning, openness. We've been told that we're the lowest price and well within your budget, says the supplier, rather smugly. We've been told that we're the lowest price and well within your budget. What would you say next? Oh, okay, you could say that. Yeah, move on, fine, it's not worth fighting for. What else could you say? Who? Interesting to know that somebody is breaching the confidential tendering process in your organisation. I would like to know that straight away. And if they know they're the lowest price, that would seem to indicate they may know all the competitors' prices as well. This is not going very well. I'm not happy with that. And further, that they know it's well within the budget, assuming the budget has not been publicly revealed. My next response in this regard is to say, thank you for that information. You still need to convince me that your offer is the best offer. Because it's not just about price, is it? Please tell me it's not just about price. You recall the iron triangle of delivery and quality. Thank you. It's our policy not to disclose our costs, says the supplier. I don't know, poor old Dr. Arafat keeps getting his ears burned by Microsoft may say points like that. You may find that where there is a sole provider, they rather arrogantly say that they're not willing to give you a breakdown. What could you say in response to this? I'm delighted to hear that because it's our policy not to award a contract without breakdown of cost. I'm happy to sign a non-disclosure agreement. What would you like to do next? Thank you for the points you've made. I will take them away for consideration, says the supplier. Perhaps an American at this point, I have a feeling. It's the sort of thing an American might say. I hope there's no Americans in the room. Thank you for the points you've made. I'll take them away for consideration. I see that as your failure of planning. Yeah? Because at the beginning of the negotiation with the supplier, you needed to say, do you have the authority to negotiate this contract? Yes, no. No, goodbye. Please send somebody who does. Well, comma, what percentage discount do you want? The naive procurement person at this point says, 100%, and then laughs. They always laugh at the end. They always say 100% and then they laugh. Yeah? He or she who puts a number down first is disadvantaged. Have you heard that phrase? In a negotiation, he or she who puts a number down first is disadvantaged. Thank you for the offer of a discount. I'm really interested in your product/service. Very keen for you to be considered. Please tell me what the best discount is you can offer me. They say a number. Thank you, you say, for that number. You do not sneer and say, is that the best you can do? As if you're some arrogant, puffed up individual. You say thank you. And after you've said thank you, you then say, are you sure that's the best you can do? I really do want to recommend you. Is that the best you can do? And it may just move. You've rejected our offer and we badly need the business. Would a 30% discount settle it? How are you feeling now? Are you feeling desperation? Are we absolutely certain we want to engage with these people? This is a bit of a worry now, isn't it? 30% chopped off. We could drive them mad and say, thank you for the 30%, what's your best offer? We could drive them. I'm just concerned that when I come to commercial acumen, when somebody says that, what's going on? Am I suddenly customer of choice? What's so special about us? Something's a bit concerning here. I might have to say, thank you for the points you've made, I'll take them away for consideration. And I need to go back to my colleagues who are typically smarter than me and have a little chat with them to figure out, what do we do now? I don't know what to do now. A bit of humility might be some kind of behaviour that I'd like from you if you wish to be indispensable in procurement. Do not expect to be the person who always knows the answer. It's pointless asking us to reduce the price we've submitted our best offer. It's pointless asking us to reduce the price we've submitted our best offer. Oh, it's getting a bit tricky now, isn't it? So those people in the room who over and over again have said cost reduction, you're now exposed, aren't you? Because now you've got to think, what is value beyond price and cost? Quantity, delivery, quality, something has to be different now, doesn't it? And if you are the individual who will consistently say, procurement is all about cost, you're not going to be of any use in this negotiation now, are you? So I need you to widen your thinking. Widen your thinking. No. I checked that, and a piece of out-of-scope work is a piece of out-of-scope work, says the supplier. What would you do now? Oh, come on. Oh, please, you could say. Or you could remind them about how very important your organisation is. Or you could be ethical and say, yes, you're absolutely right. There will be a cost associated with that because we didn't include it in the specification. Thank you. I will send the change order accordingly. Why don't you be the one who's ethical? Why don't you do that? Our limit of liability will have to be restricted to the value of the contract. No doubt they would call it an LOL just to try and screw things up a bit further, to prove that they're down with the kids when it comes to contractual language, right? At this point, what is the one thing you're going to say next? Exclusives? Maybe. I'm sorry somebody spoke and now I'm going to smack them down and say, no, I wouldn't say that. But there you go. Why? Well, ask them. They might say, why is it related to the value of the contract? That may have nothing to do with the risk profile of it. I'm just interested to know why. And if the boy or girl across from me looks at me, eyes wide, that it's come from head office that limit of liability is set, I doubt we can have a discussion about exclusions and applications. I'm interested to know the calibre of the person facing me. One more. I've made a personal mistake, says the supplier, and it would be very embarrassing to have to tell my MD, Managing Director, that I didn't have the authority to offer or authorise that 10% discount. I'll have to remove it now. It's almost like these are things from real life, isn't it? What would you say now? Oh, go on then, Mohammed. Oh, go on then, Gupta. Oh, go on then, David, I'll let you off. Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to be the man or woman of principle that when a supplier has made an offer, that is accepted? And embarrassment or otherwise, it's going to be very challenging for the supplier to get out for that. They need to know that when they're engaging with you, you're real. You're not their friend. You're not their enemy either. You're a professional to engage. Embarrassment or not, you made the offer, I accepted it, away we go. Cicero, left back for Brazil. No. Roman philosopher, if you wish to persuade me, you must think my thoughts, feel my feelings, speak my words. I don't know, 2,000 years ago. An amazing term, isn't it? The reason I say that is a Dutchman called Gert Hofstede did some superb work where he identified the negotiation behaviours of IBM consultants around the world in order to identify their behaviours when they undertook negotiation. Those of you based in Kuwait will be engaging with Americans and Germans and French and English and so on. You will have noticed suddenly that they're all a little bit different, aren't they? Gert Hofstede has helped you to identify typical behaviours of people in negotiation. There's a commercial advantage that your stakeholders would value. I have no commercial links with Gert Hofstede. I don't even know if he's still alive, in fairness. I don't know. Pause for a second. Maybe Kuwaitis have a way of negotiating. Maybe there needs to be some self-reflection as a Kuwaiti on how you present yourself to other parties. That self-awareness would be an indispensable skill to know you recognise your own strengths and perhaps areas for development as well. That would be superstar. 5 things to take away, he said. Well, if you want invaluable skills, I would ask you to read Fisher and Ury, Getting to Yes. $8. Not a particular big job. Nice little read over a coffee, well worth looking at. Fisher and Ury, please have a look at that. Harry's your man, SIPS knowledge. I'm proud to say I'm a fellow. I've been through SIPS training. That development's been really helpful. Sharpen the saw, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, get that study done. It's certainly an area for you to explore. Next one takes a bit of humility. There may be people in your organisation that you respect and admire. Next time they're on a Teams meeting, next time they're in a meeting with a supplier, next time they're engaging with a stakeholder, offer to support them. Take notes. Listen in. Phrase I'm using is bag carrier. Go along. Flatter them perhaps and say, I would like to learn from you. I will remain silent. I just want to see you in action. Not all of them will welcome it. All right? They don't want to share in that regard, but worth doing it. Next one, and this takes some doing, is I should have said ask colleagues for help once. I should have phrased this a bit more carefully. Ask colleagues for help. When I was a boy, I asked one of my colleagues for help, and he said to me, that's for me to know and for you to find out. Oh, I was hurt. I was hurt by that. But what I did, the thing that we were involved in, I got better at, and 2 years later he said, how did you do that? And I said, same thing. I said it back to him. So ask colleagues for help, and many of your colleagues will help. There is something about none of us know more than all of us. Well worth speaking. And whisper it. You might also learn from colleagues how not to behave, not to take that approach. I'm not proposing that you then teach them a lesson, but recognise you learn from failure as much as you will learn from success. Final one, I've been at this for 25 years. I'm not the finished article. I doubt you are as well. Practice. Okay. Thank you. 10 minutes to go before lunch, so listen to this question carefully. Has anybody any questions before we have a lovely hot lunch?